For this Best Move segment, we'll be talking to Chris Gunty of Catholic Review Media. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, good to be here.
Absolutely. I wanted to share your best move or have you share your best move for 2022 for Catholic Review. And I understand it created a significant change within your publication and news organization. So tell us what your best move was.
Thanks, Rebecca. There's a lot of publications that do market research. There's a lot of publications that do redesigns. We put ours together and we really made sure that they all work together. We're all in this business. We've looked at, especially in 2021 and 2022, a huge increase in paper costs. For us, mailing postage costs are a huge part because we're primarily delivered by the U.S. mail. And so, of course, the finance folks here have always looked at, gee, is it really worth it to keep doing a print product and mailing that? And so we said, let's find out. Instead of just say, oh, we could save that money. Let's find out. So what we did was we surveyed readers. We engaged a survey company to do that and surveyed readers. And we found that not only was it a good idea to keep the print product, but it would be essential. We had the normal questions of demographics and things like that. And how often are you reading? But what we found was that about 80% had read 3 of the last 4 issues in print, and 2/3 had read all 4 of the last 4 issues in print. And so that was really high. But then we asked, how would they continue to read the Catholic Review if it was online only, if there was no print edition? And 77% said they would read less or significantly less if there was no print edition.
That's surprising.
That's huge. It's huge. And we're a niche publication. We're not a daily. We're a monthly with a combined July-August issue. And we have a huge online presence and e-newsletter and all of those things. We have a radio show, all of those things. But to find out that people really wanted this print edition in their home was critical. It's like, okay, now we have that information, but we also know we're not necessarily reaching minority communities well. We also there were some things that we found that people wanted more of or less of. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, we converted from a newspaper to a magazine several years ago. We were still kind of thinking of ourselves as a newspaper in glossy format. Mm-hmm. And we had gotten a new graphic designer, and she said, well, let's take this information and really embrace being a magazine. One of the things the survey told us was that people like the longer stories, more depth, more interest there. So we said, okay, if we can give those stories more room, bigger pictures, more white space, make it more attractive, will that help, the readers? And so we took the data from the survey, went into a redesign. The redesign was done in-house, so it kept our costs down a lot. Mm-hmm. And then we jumped into that full-fledged and said, what do we need to do to make this a new thing? Came up with a new logo, new tagline, real life, real faith. So that our tagline before was inspiring the Archdiocese of Baltimore. And then we said, no, this is about helping people live their real life in the context of faith. And so we moved forward on that. And what was unique was that it wasn't just, oh, let's do a redesign and make things look prettier. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just, let's do a survey and then put it on the shelf. It was, let's do a survey and then embrace that and make a complete redesign and use that to better reach our readers.
It really strikes me that you went and we're really, in some respects, this was a community-led process, that when you're deeply listening to the community you serve, you let them guide what they need and what they want out of your publication. Has that been part of how you have approached design and newsmaking previously, or was this a change for you all?
It was, in a sense. We've always been a community publication, but in this way we did a similar survey in 2016, so we were able to compare some of the results, word for word on the questioning. But it was a matter of saying, okay, this is how the community perceives us. How do we help that community connect better? And those are the kinds of things I think that helped. One of the interesting things that came out of this was that we asked, there are certain features that are in the magazine every month. Are there some that you want to see more or less of? And one of the things that it wasn't a lot, it was about 15%, but they said they wanted less of my column, my editor's notebook. We dropped it. We dropped it, and now I write an occasional column in the back of the book, in our amen section, kind of our last word. But they said they could do with less of me, and I'm like, okay, less of me, and that gives us more room to spread out these stories and make them more attractive to people. So we did it.
So I feel like the Catholic Review has a kind of a different model than some of the traditional news outlets and publications, because you do deliver directly to people's homes, but you're also available in churches throughout. It's not the entire state, but I know your geographic jurisdiction goes pretty far out, maybe to Frederick. Can you talk a little bit about who your community is and how you distribute and why that's important?
Sure, it's very diverse. We go from Havre de Grace to West River, all the way out to Garrett County. We're spitting distance of West Virginia at that point. So we cover all of Maryland except for the Eastern Shore and the collar counties around DC. So everything else, and so that's a wide range of people, languages, cultures, all of those things are embraced. One of the things we're looking to do at some point is to create a quarterly Spanish publication to reach Hispanic Catholics. So it really shapes who we are, and it also means that we have to get out there and be with people. If you're a community newspaper that serves a small area, it's not that hard to cover the city council and those kinds of things, the local school board and that. For us, we've got to, kind of make a run out to Frederick and Cumberland and Hagerstown and Garrett County and Frostburg. Head all the way out that way, or head up north into Harford County, down into southern Anne Arundel County, just to make sure that we're covering everybody. It's tough to do with a small staff, but we like to do it and we like to get out there. Our photographer is one of the best people at this because we can do some of those stories by phone, but he's got to be there. And so he's really one of our best ambassadors because he's out there meeting the community all the time. He brings back ideas all the time and says, hey, I'm hearing this. And some of that factored into the design of what he's hearing out in the community.
That's terrific. So you did the redesign in the fall of 2022, and it was a community-led process. It sounds like it radically shifted the look and feel of the publication. And I love the tagline of real life, real faith. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's next then? How do you build on that best move to continue serving your constituency and providing news sources?
Well, as I mentioned, we are looking to hire a full-time bilingual reporter who would be able to help lead the way to creating a bilingual publication or a Spanish publication that would come out quarterly. But the other thing that we're trying to do is to try to find out which of the people who are registered in our parishes are not getting the magazine. And so we're probably going to, in the early fall, do a postcard campaign. We can do a merge purge against the registration lists and invite them and just say, hey, if you're not getting the Catholic Review, you should be. We'd be glad to send it to you. How do you want to sign up? And of course, that'll involve QR codes and all those things. We've also been going out to various festivals and things like that. We were at the Merriweather Symphony of Lights in December, just to have a presence there and get people familiar with what we're doing. We were at a wine festival in Ellicott City in the fall. So we're just kind of trying to get out and meet people and get feedback and figure out how best to improve things.
That sounds wonderful, and it sounds like a really good move for 2022. So thank you, Chris, for sharing the Catholic Review's best move. And for all those listening, you will be able to vote on the Catholic Review's best move along with our other nominees at the poll, which is found in the comments of this video. So thank you so much. See you soon.
Thanks, Rebecca.